There's just one place to get our lowest payment on the new 2024 Acura ZDX, $299 a month. It's the Season of Performance event at Acura of Pembroke Pines, #1 in the USA.
If you're looking to take your home or business to the next level, then RM Contractors and Custom Drywall can assist you. RM specializes in new residential turnkey, new commercial turnkey, home and office remodeling. Call them for free estimates. Serving all of South Florida, licensed and insured. Call Ray or Mike, 305-345-3649. You work hard to create the perfect atmosphere. You dream it, we'll build it. RM Contractors and Custom Drywall, 305-345-3649 or Instagram at RMC Fisher Island.
After 40 years, the Big Cheese Miami is still producing great Italian food. They started in 1984. Since then, they've been winning awards while being voted the best inexpensive Italian restaurant in Miami. Visit them for great food, amazing service. Witness the decades of Cane's memories. The walls are like a Miami Hurricanes Hall of Fame. The Big Cheese delivers anything on its menu or party platter menu to your home, office, or even a park for a picnic. Located at 8080 Southwest 67th Avenue, Miami. Call 305-662-6855. TheBigCheeseMiami.com, where they serve large portions at family prices.
We are live. It is time for the Squared Circle Digest Raw Recap. I am your host. I am Sean Stanley, and thank you for joining me here tonight after Raw. And looking at the chat already, no doubt in. Dads, appreciate you guys. Everybody watching on X, please hit that like, hit the share. If you're watching us on X, Twitch, Facebook, jump over to the YouTube page, please. Hit that subscribe button. It is the Stanley Media House Network YouTube channel. This is the Raw Recap, and tonight, as no doubt said, 2 hours and 30 minutes was great. I think that's going to be the sweet spot. When you don't have your Rocks and Cenas and the PLE style lineup, I think the sweet spot is going to be the 2 hours, 2:15, 2:30, something around there, depending on what they had. They could stretch it out tonight because the Damian Priest and Finn Balor plunder, that match could go a while as long as they could take the beating of going through all the tables and get hit with chairs. That match went almost a full 30 minutes. So, with those matches, you can go down to like the 30, but I think on most of them, I think you're looking about 2:15, 2:30 being the sweet spot. But again, you start bringing in The Rock, you do it like last week, the 3 hours kind of flew by. But I did talk about it on the SmackDown recap. If you didn't catch that, of course, it is posted at the Stanley Media House Network YouTube channel. It was rough watching 3 hours of SmackDown. It was rough. I mean, and again, I also said maybe it was just me. I had a long day that day, but it felt like that SmackDown, just lasted way too long. Tonight was a good show, man. It was a very good Raw. Again, I want to see how they were going to come off of last week, right? Because they can't do that every week. Although I would hope that they would. My hope for this in the long run is that this becomes more like a PLE-ish type show, Saturday Night Main Event show, to where you have the big matches pay off on some of these, because then again, you got the time to play with here. You don't have to rush everything. You saw CM Punk started the show, driving up, going out, making it known he's going to enter the Royal Rumble, and then he's like, you know what? Hit my music, and Seth Rollins, of course, music hits. He comes down, he puts himself in the Royal Rumble. Drew McIntyre's music hits. Of course, he puts himself in the Royal Rumble. And it's going to be so interesting to see. This Royal Rumble is going to be star-studded. Again, you already have John Cena. You already have CM Punk, Roman Reigns, Drew McIntyre, Seth Rollins. So 5 right now. And then when you look at it, you're going to have a lot of big names. It's going to be interesting to see how they do this Royal Rumble. Because again, remember, the winner goes on to main event at WrestleMania. You're given the main event at WrestleMania, night 1, night 2. But the interesting thing too is, don't forget, CM Punk still has an ace up his sleeve. Because when he took on that match, I want to see how this plays out and how they end up rolling this in there. He's owed a favor by Paul Heyman. And then that was, it's been kind of laid out there that he wants the main event WrestleMania. So if he doesn't win the Rumble, how does Paul Heyman, it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out, because that was the favor. That was the favor. So I want to see how this rolls out and how they play this out. But you saw the 3 of them start the show. They do, again, all the talking. They set up a match next week. It will be Drew versus Seth. So they're making matches for. It's very interesting too, because they're not only making matches for next Raw on Netflix, they're making matches for Saturday Night Main Event, which is, I believe, 2 Saturdays away, they said. And then January 31st is the Royal Rumble. And we know already it's Cody against KO in a ladder. At Saturday Night Main Event, the week before the pay-per-view, it's going to be Jey Uso against Gunther at Saturday Night Main Event, and Sheamus against Braun Breaker at Saturday Night Main Event. How does that affect, or will it affect, what goes on going into the Royal Rumble? Because again, the Royal Rumble, usually in years past, you had the title matches and you had the Rumble matches, and that was kind of it. So we'll see how this year, how they do it. Because now you've added also the women's Intercontinental title tonight. Congratulations, Lyra Valkyria. She wins, beat Dakota Kai. I was pretty upset about that. I was not happy that Dakota Kai did not get the women's IC title. Damn you, Triple H. Damn you. But Lyra is more than deserving of the honor. So that's going to be another title that we get to see how it gets, defended. Then you had Chelsea Green. Of course, she's the U.S. Women's Champion. How do those belts figure in? You've got Tiffany Stratton, the new Women's Champion on SmackDown. You got Rhea, of course, on Raw. You saw Nia come out here on Raw. But I believe, that was more to set up Bayley and hers interaction, because on SmackDown, Nia Jax will cost Bayley the match with Tiffany Stratton. I almost read that right through everything they did there. No Doubt says, I want to see Jay beat Gunther solely because it would create a Jay versus Roman angle to break up the bloodline from within. Yeah, and Lyra rocks. She needs a better crowd participation noise. I think the thing is with Lyra is she's got that, the Raven-like entrance at the beginning, and then it kind of tails off right now. Her wrestling ability is top notch, but again, it hasn't caught on in that WWE style. Like, Dakota Kai's she's learned how to, use some of her movements and things like that to get crowd reaction. Lyra hasn't got that 100% yet, but it's getting better. It takes a long time, especially when, it's different when you're a Jey Uso and you have the yeet, things that catch on quick, then the crowd just gets right behind you. Or, with Miz, there's things that happen with the crowd and the way they get behind them. And Lyra has not picked that up as of yet, but she is a phenomenal in-ring performer. She's good on the mic. She's very good on the mic. So overall, I think, she's going to do well with the title, but I was hoping damn Dakota Kai would get it. You saw Sami Zayn kind of getting distanced away, I guess, a little bit from the bloodline angle, but still enthralled in the bloodline angle with the way Seth got him in the back and was like, look what you did now. You got Roman. Now he's back to the tribal chief. Now he's challenging Cody. Look at everything you've done. And what are you getting? What are you getting? What about you? And you kind of saw him just sitting there thinking about it. You also saw Jey Uso when he was talking about it. He's like, I'm done with the bloodlines behind me. Drew McIntyre's behind me. And I'm coming for the title. So it looks like they're trying to distance a little bit the bloodline stuff. You saw a little bit on SmackDown. Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga were without Solo, and no mention of Solo. As far as them mentioning, I mean, I know, Tessitore and Wade Barrett mentioned them, but it wasn't, Jacob Fatu, praising Solo after he lost the Tribal Chief match. Sort of like what Solo did to Roman right after he lost at WrestleMania. The next Raw, they stop at the dressing room door and, and he already starts right there going on. But I thought one of the smartest things that, they did tonight was the way they debuted Penta, the first actual match after the promos are in the ring, everything gets done there. Penta, the music hits, he gets the intro. The production of the WWE always makes it seem bigger, and you got to see, I was happy they let him do most of his moveset. You didn't get it all, but he did quite a bit of his moveset, which I didn't know if they were going to let him do, a lot of the moves, but he did. He got the Penta driver, he got the suicide in, and some other things too. What is it? I always call it the Canadian Destroyer, but I forget what he calls it. But he got the Canadian Destroyer, and I thought it was a great match to give him Chad Gable, because Gable can go. Gable can be there for any style of wrestler. Although one thing, though, I did wish was that Chad Gable might have given him more of his body to the outside. Penta landed just flat backed on the outside on that jump over to the outside. But hey, it is one of those things to where you hope the person is out there for you when you land. If not, then hope you ate your Wheaties, because you're gonna hit the floor and there's nothing there but a big thud. But Penta, I thought debut tonight was well done. They let him talk. And what's funny is I didn't know he could talk that well in English. I had not heard him. He's talked a few times when he was in AEW, but I had not heard him talk as much as he did there. And I was like, when he first got the mic, I was like, ooh, this might get a little rough. And it was fine. I thought it was perfect. He did the English, then he did it into Spanish, back into English, back into Spanish, and he had the San Jose crowd into it, and that's all you want with your promos is reactions. And he got those reactions tonight. Overall, and then you had Sammy, of course, take on The Miz. That match happened in the back as well. I thought they did a lot more ring work tonight than they did on the debut episode. And I think it flowed well. And I think it's a good recipe. Again, if you have the stars there, if you have your Cenas, your Rocks, your CM Punks, your Seth Rollins, your Roman Reigns, you can do that length of a show. They did not try to stretch out anything. It was, you left that match till the end, and I don't feel like they stretched anything else out. I thought Lyra and them had a great match. Penta, I thought, got good time. Miz and Sami Zayn, nothing seemed rushed to like, oh, we got to get out of here by. It was almost like they said, okay, here's your times we want you to be at. hit them, and we're out of here by 10:30. And I think, like, as No Doubt said earlier in the chat, and I appreciate everybody if you're watching us on X, Twitch, or on the Facebook page, Stanley Media House Network. If you can go to Facebook and join the Facebook page, Stanley Media House Network, and then also jump onto YouTube, Stanley Media House Network. Hit the subscribe button, hit the notification button, jump on X at Stanley Media 11, and of course, Stanley Media House Network on all other social media platforms. So overall, I thought the Raw delivered, man. I thought it delivered. I was wondering, and I said it last week, said at the beginning, don't just go 3 hours, 3.5 hours to have that show every week. When you have this flexibility, I think if they work it 2:15 to 2:30, depending on how the matches lay out, I think they found their sweet spot for the non-star-studded shows. Star-studded shows, of course, you can add time onto it as need be, and we'll see what they do going forward. But overall, kudos to a very entertaining Raw tonight. I enjoyed this Raw much better than I enjoyed SmackDown. So hopefully I cannot wait for SmackDown to go back to 2 hours. But hey, it is what it is at this time. And again, I want to thank everybody that has been on the show today with me here, watching us a late night. Fortunately, it was over at 10:30. Did about a 20-minute recap here. And again, I appreciate everybody that's took your time here on this Monday night, talking a little pro wrestling right here on the Stanley Media House Network. And this is the Squared Circle Digest. Back tomorrow, 7 p.m., live, talking WWE and AEW, and a little bit of everything. We'll have some New Japan talk as well, Ring of Honor, and, of course, TNA, and even some local indies. Malachi Black debuted in CCW in Tampa over the weekend with all the news going on about him in AEW. So a lot to talk about tomorrow, 7 p.m., right here, Stanley Media House Network YouTube channel, also the Frankie Fresco YouTube channel, so make sure you check it out. Subscribe, like, share, and as always, I appreciate each and every one of you that spent your time with me here tonight. Look forward to talking to you tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern, right here on the Stanley Media House Network YouTube channel. The words of the great Gordon Soley. So long from the sun, shine, state.